Captain Kale's talons clicked against the command deck's obsidian floor, each step a precise punctuation in the silent hymn of his ship. Outside the viewport, the blue marble of Earth hung like a jewel, ripe for the taking. His people, the Vaith, had spent eons perfecting conquest, a symphony of strategy and discipline. This world would be no different. His caste, the Talons, would descend, break the primitive societies, and impose the Great Order. Below, the lesser castes, minds, hands, wings, prepared for their roles. Kale's gaze fell upon the planet's surface, where sprawling cities pulsed with chaotic energy. Such disorder was an affront to the Vaith way. Yet, he felt no fear, only the cold certainty of duty. The invasion fleet aligned, their sleek hulls reflecting the sun's glare. Kale's beak curved into a razor smile. Today, the Vaith would teach humanity the meaning of structure. The dropships screamed through the atmosphere, their hulls glowing from the friction. Below, the city of Neo-Tokyo sprawled like a wound on the planet's skin. Kale stood at the forefront of his Talon warriors, their feathers bristling with anticipation. The doors hissed open, and they descended. The streets were a labyrinth of noise and motion, humans shouting, vehicles roaring, neon signs flickering. The Vaith moved in perfect unison, their energy rifles humming to life. But the humans did not flee. They did not beg. Instead, they laughed. One man in a stained apron hurled a frying pan, which clanged harmlessly off Kale's armor. A group of children threw rocks, their shouts a cacophony of gibberish. Kale's warriors faltered. This was not the organized resistance they'd expected. The humans fought with no strategy, no honor, only wild, unpredictable fury. A Talon warrior screamed as a human doused him with a fire extinguisher, foam coating his feathers. Kale's smile vanished. This was not conquest. It was madness. Commander Valen watched the invasion feeds from her citadel on Mars, her three-fingered hands tightening around the console's edge. The Vaith had underestimated these creatures. They fought like animals, yet built cities that rivaled Vaith architecture. They died without honor, yet mourned their dead with a ferocity that unsettled her. She'd studied human history, endless wars, pointless art, religions that contradicted themselves. They were a paradox wrapped in chaos. And now, her people were unraveling. The Talons reported humans using their own weapons against them, turning vehicles into battering rams, setting fires with chemicals from their kitchens. Valen's mind raced. The Vaith thrived on predictability. Humans thrived on the opposite. It was a war of logic versus madness. And madness, she was beginning to realize, was winning. A message flashed on her screen, asterisk requesting retreat. The enemy is illogical, asterisk Valen's beak clicked. She had to intervene. Kale crouched in the ruins of a human library, dust coating his feathers. The air smelled of smoke and something else, sweet, rotten, like overripe fruit. Humans called it junk food, and they consumed it with alarming enthusiasm. Around him, his warriors were losing their discipline. One had begun collecting colorful human trinkets. Another was mimicking their laughter. Kale's blood ran cold. The Vaith were breaking. He'd heard rumors of hands and wings abandoning their posts, drawn to the humans' chaotic energy. It was a disease, a plague of disorder. Kale's comms crackled. Commander Valen orders your immediate withdrawal, a voice hissed. Kale's talons dug into the floor. Withdraw? After all this. He looked out at the city, where humans were now dancing in the streets, their movements a mockery of Vaith precision. They were celebrating, not victory, but the sheer joy of destruction. Kale's rage curdled into something else, fear. He'd come to impose order, but the humans had shown him only the void. Valen stood before the Vaith High Council, her voice steady despite the tremor in her claws. The humans are not a threat to our empire, she said. They are a threat to our sanity. The council members shifted, their feathers rustling with unease. They do not fight for territory or resources. They fight because it amuses them. They create art that defies logic, music that shatters the mind, and weapons forged from garbage. She projected an image of a human child holding a makeshift flamethrower made from an aerosol can and a lighter. The council gasped. We cannot conquer chaos, Valen concluded. We can only be consumed by it. A silence fell over the chamber. The Vaith had never retreated, never surrendered. But the humans had broken them without firing a single shot from their warships. They had broken them with laughter, with nonsense, with the beautiful, terrifying unpredictability of life itself. Kale stood on the bridge of his retreating ship, watching Earth shrink in the viewport. The humans were still down there, still laughing, still burning their own city for no reason. The Vaith had come to teach them order, but instead, they had learned a lesson of their own. Chaos was not a flaw. It was a weapon the humans wielded with terrifying skill. Kale's beak curved, not in a smile, but in a grimace of understanding. The Vaith would never invade again, not because they were afraid of human strength, but because they were afraid of human freedom. And as the stars swallowed his ship, Kale knew one thing for certain. The universe was far stranger than he'd ever imagined, and far more dangerous.